Hey guys, I'd like to speak about the recent refugee crisis that's kind of going on in Canada. Now, we're not having the mass migration like that's going on in Europe or anything like that, but in this year alone, from January 1st to March 31st, there was something like 3 to 400 asylum seekers that came into Manitoba through Emerson alone, just one of our provinces. Now, for the past month or so, or 2 months, they've stopped taking the numbers. They're just no longer showing us. So we only know about 300. There's probably a couple hundred more that actually increased or that came across the border since then because of the weather, right? It's hotter, it's warmer, and it's a lot safer. A lot of people that were crossing into Canada this year were coming in with frostbite and, missing fingers and all these things, and that definitely drove up a little bit of the support for them, right? Because they're like, hey, we don't want these people to freeze, and I don't want people to freeze either. But we need to stop allowing these people to come into our country. Now, I understand we feel bad for them, and we think that it's not safe for them in America, but it is. You know, America is one of the safest countries in the world, and just because you have family in Canada and you really, really want to live here, doesn't mean we should have any right, or you have any right to come here. And a lot of people, they're like, oh, well, you're making it too hard on the refugees. They can't decide where they want to go. It's like, no, they're refugees. They're supposed to stay in the first country they enter. They're not allowed to shop countries and to decide, hey, I like their benefits better, I'm going to go here. No, I like these guys' benefits better, I'm going to go here. No, that's not how it works. Refugees, you're leaving. You're supposed to be leaving a war-torn country. And secondly, a lot of the refugees coming here are from Somalia, right? There is war. There's a lot of devastation going on in Somalia, but not caused by Canada. And we have these politicians in Canada saying, "Hey, let's change the rules and make it easier for them to come in." It's like, no, like, no. Let's let the people who are applying here legally come in first, instead of letting all these refugees take their place. And a lot of these refugees are not even from Syria. So, we should prioritize these people that are coming in legally, that are waiting in line for 5, 6 years, instead of pushing all these other people along. And nobody's talking about it. There's very little discussion going on about this in Canada. It's like they're just sweeping it under the rug. And of course, Trudeau's not going to do anything about it. He wants this to happen. He said, I'm not going to stop this, and I'm going to let it continue happening. He's only going to do something about it when enough people bitch and when he thinks he's going to lose support. This is the thing with Trudeau and the Liberals a lot of the times. This is why, the average people in countries and the average, worker person hates the Liberals, because they don't care about the citizens of their country. They care more about, immigrants from other countries, and they care more about, propping up other countries with our wealth. And you could say, oh, you got your money through bad means and you're greedy, whatever. But that's bullshit. Canada has not invaded other countries. We're not going in and stealing other people's resources. So this argument doesn't really fly with us, and we have no obligation. We did not invade Syria. We did not invade Somalia. We did not invade a lot of these countries in the Middle East. Now, if anybody's going to take them, it should be Americans. And, compared to Canada, if anybody's going to take, it's going to be them. But for some reason, Canadians are very stupid. And they're like, oh, we should help them. We should do this. We should do that. It's like, yeah, okay, you do it. You take your money and you put them in your home, right? Instead of bringing them here, putting them in ghettos, and then not helping them at all. Like, these people are not learning our language very quickly and efficiently. They're not going to be contributing members of society for years and years to come, if ever. So, we got to think about, the future and our own people first. We can help people, but if you give away everything that you have, now nobody gets anything, right? Like, because now you're poor too. So we could help people all we want. You know, we should help some refugees, sure, but let's be smart about it, and let's actually have borders, and let's fix these loopholes in our system that are allowing these people to come in, because you know they know our laws and they know that they can get in, and they know they just need to avoid the border crossings, the designated ones, because of the loophole in their system that allows them to come in. Because otherwise, if they came to the border crossings, they would be turned back, and they know this. That's why they don't come through legally, right? And you know, they feel unsafe in America because of Trump, right? But a lot of these, you know, apparently Islamophobia is on the rise, and I'm sure there is more Islamophobia to an extent, but there's more anti-Semitism in America and in other countries. So, you know, by that logic, we should just be letting in Jews only, right? Like, there's lots of hate going around, and that's still no reason to let you in. And America, I don't care what you say, like, it's still safer than most countries, right? And, you know, I understand maybe your politicians are putting them in ghettos, and that is unsafe, because maybe some of those places are just as bad as war zones. But even though we still have, it's still not up to Canada to take care of these people. And I know a lot of people, bleeding hearts, they're like, oh, you're just a horrible person, blah, blah. It's like, you know what? Like, put your money where your mouth is. You bring these people into your home, and you pay for their food. You pay for them to come in. You pay for their plane ticket. And when you do all this, then you could look at other people and judge them morally. But a lot of these people yelling for this shit and, you know, aren't paying taxes. That's not their money that's going to go support these people. And granted, I don't make tons of money, so I'm not like putting tons and tons of money into the tax system. But I still do pay taxes, and I've been paying into the system since I was 14 years old, you know, working nonstop. So, you know, we really need to stop giving out freebies to people who have never been here. And this sounds bad, but, you know, this will create more resentment among people and among different groups. You know, when you have the native population of your group, whether they're white, black, whatever, or a mix of the two, and then you bring in other people and start giving them benefits right away, like that the common people don't have. You know, giving them free dental, all these things. You're paying for them, where the poor are getting shit. They're getting nothing in your country. But then all these other people are coming in that have never paid in the system are now benefiting from it. You know, this is what creates resentment and hate among people. Now, you know, we can close our eyes and think, hey, let's just keep doing this, keep bringing people in, but, you know, at the expense of who? At the expense of what? You know, everybody's important. All humans are important. But in my mind, Canadians are more important than the rest of the world, in my eyes. And if you're from Afghanistan, then Afghanis are more important to you, or should be more important to you, than the rest of the world. You know, your family comes first. Your friends come first. You know, your country comes first, then other people. That's the way it should work. And, you know, if you want to be a globalist and, you know, spend all your money here, and there, and give it all away to all these different places, go be my guest. Do it. But don't force other people to do it if they don't want to. And especially when it's inefficient and costly and not beneficial to the people. Like, what do we get out of it? We should be able to ask that question. What does Canada get out of it? Other than a feeling of, oh, we helped. Because you know what, you're not helping. A lot of the times these people are going in poor communities. They're putting them in ghettos right away. And they're working minimum wage jobs. They're not going to become doctors and professors and lawyers. They're not. And then, you know, they're people, they're just going to be using the system later on when they get old. And it's like, the system is not sustainable. And they're talking about automation. I've mentioned this before, but, you know, if you think automation is going to take all of our jobs, then bringing in millions of more people, like Trudeau wants to do, to increase our population by 100 million, bringing in more people that are now going to be employed because of automation is not a good idea. There's going to be massive upheavals, and and then when a lot of people are different and they have vastly different cultures, and then the society does crumble, or something like that happens, then you're going to see a lot of bloodshed. Because if there's at least some unity among people, like culturally, and they believe in a lot of the same things, like freedom of speech, all these things, then if society does crumble, then at least we're not going to be at each other's throats as much, and we're going to try to work with each other. We're not going to see each other as such, foreign entities. We're going to work with each other. But, that's why assimilation is important, right? We need to slow down the rate of immigration, not because damn brown people and Asians and whatever, but the thing is, people, they have support for the country they come from, and I don't blame anybody for this. Like, if you come from China and you come to Canada, your allegiance will always probably be to China, whether you whether you want to become a Canadian or not. Like, my allegiance will always be to Canada wherever I live, no matter where I live. So that's something we got to remember. And we can bring in people, but we need to give them time to assimilate, and their kids time to assimilate, so then they consider themselves Canadian, and they uphold Canadian values, and they want to, designate themselves Canadian. Like, otherwise, you have all these disparate cultures coming in who, are sending all their money back home, and, not really contributing, not really becoming a part of society. And if you do this too quickly, bad shit's probably going to happen. But, this is pretty much all I had to say currently. If you like my content, subscribe. And sorry, I'm a little nasally. I'm just kind of sick lately, but hopefully I'm going to get over it soon. But have a great day. And I want to thank my one patron again, Catherine Aquitaine. Thank you very much for supporting my account. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. See ya.